Caitlin from Caitlin and Jazz Books. Welcome back to our channel. Ignore how much of a mess I look, but let's be real, I always look like a mess, so yeah. My GCSEs start tomorrow. I've got a biology exam tomorrow. I have not finished my notes. I have to pass 1 out of the 3 sciences and I'm predicted to fail the other 2. And yet I'm here making a video. My life. My life. Anyway, aside from all that, welcome back to our channel, and today I'm doing series that I don't plan on finishing, and there's a few because I start series all the time and then never finish them. It's like my thing. So if I finish a series, that's good on me, but these are the ones that I'm not gonna. Now, I wrote my list for this a while ago because I write like video ideas out, and then if I don't have one, I just go over to my trusty little notebook and find one. So this is the one I'm doing this week. But the first one on the list is, yep, definitely one that I'm never going to finish, and that's the Dorothy Must Die Trilogy by Daniel Page. It's Dorothy Must Die, The Wicked Will Rise and Yellow Brick Wall. I think that's what it's called. I just hated this book. The Wicked Will Rise, No Place Like Oz, The Witch Must Burn, and something else. Yeah, I hated this. I didn't like anything about it. As a kid, I was a massive, massive fan of Wizard of Oz. I still am. So the fact that she felt the need to change it hurt me. It struck a chord on the inside. I wasn't a fan. Sorry if you're a fan of this. Obviously, these are my own opinions. You are free to have your own. These are just mine. But I didn't like this book at all. Jasmine liked it, so I mean, just shows difference of opinions, doesn't it? But yeah, I couldn't get into it. I didn't like the characters. I didn't like the fact that she'd swapped around all like the characteristics of the characters that I've loved for so long. I wasn't a fan of it. Not planning on reading the other 2. Plus they just get really short, so I sort of feel like there's no point to the other 2 anyway. So this is the first series, trilogy or whatever it is, that I will not be finishing. The next series, I believe, is a trilogy, and this is one that was popular a long time ago, and I read it about 2 years ago, and that is Uglies by Scott Westerfield, which has pretties and specials after it. I didn't hate this book, I didn't love it. It wasn't really anything special, it didn't make like a lasting impression, and as I read this 2 years ago, I can't particularly remember what happened, which is one reason why I'm not finishing the series, but I just feel like if I wanted to finish the story, I would have picked up the other books by now, and I haven't. But I mean, the cover's pretty, if that's anything. Can't remember what this is about at all. I just know that it's a dystopian as to when you hit a certain age, they turn you pretty. Yeah. That just, if that concept doesn't sound kind of like objectifying to you, then it does to me, so that's the reason, again, why I don't want to finish the rest of the books. This next one's probably the newest series. It's a duology, so you can probably guess what it is from that, but I think it's the newest one that's come out, and this is probably, again, the most controversial, because this one is very well loved. I just didn't like it that much. Again, it's my own opinions, and that is Passenger by Alexandra Bracken. I didn't hate this, I just couldn't really get involved in it, and all the music references were stressing me out. Like, I love music. I'm in choirs. I'm in 4 choirs. I love music, but it was when she was, like, doing music metaphors and every sentence was mentioning music, and I was like, oh my god, shut up, I don't care anymore. So yeah, I found it really hard to imagine what was going on. The characters didn't grow on me that much. I just didn't really feel a connection to this book or any reason to read Wayfarer, which is the second one. I mean, I might do, because it's only a duology, so it's not like I have like 6 books to read. I only have 1 more to read. So I might do if I ever feel like it, but I've also heard very mixed reviews on Wayfarer. Some people love it, but some people say like, oh, it's not as good compared to Passengers. So because I didn't particularly like this one, that probably means I'm going to like Wayfarer even less, which is another reason why I don't want to pick it up. The next one is a trilogy, and I read the first book, and I actually loved the first book, and that is Murder Complex by Lindsay Cummings, who, if you don't know, is also writing a book called Zenith with Sasha Alsberg over at Book Utopia. So yeah, I'm really excited for that, and I read the like novella with the first part of it, which they brought out. I read that the day it came out. I've been there from the beginning. Anyway, moving on. I really liked this. I just read it like 1.5 years ago or 2 years ago, and I can't actually remember what happened in it, which is mostly why I'm not going to read it. the next two. I think it's the next. There's two more. Yeah, there's three. There's three, and yeah, I just feel like if I felt like if I felt a need to finish this trilogy, I would have done it already, and now I can't remember what happened, and to read the other two, I would have to reread this one, and I don't want to do that. So, this is another one which I'm not planning on finishing. This next one I have read two in the series. The first one I read for school, the second one I read for my own entertainment, and the third one I have no desire to read whatsoever. And I only have the second one, but the series is Holes by Lewis Satcher, and I have Small Steps here. I don't know, I read this one and I was like, no. And I feel like the next one is just like, yeah, Stanley Yelnats Survival Camp 2. Survival Guide to Camp Green Lake. I just don't have any interest in this series anymore. I mean, Holes is good. The film's great. The film's good. The book's alright. This book's... I would recommend Holes. Holes is really good. I really enjoyed Holes. I've read it twice. Watched the film a couple times. Read this, and then that's where my interest stopped, so... The next one, I've read the original trilogy, not planning on reading the next one that came out. The next one, if you asked me like 2 years ago, I'd have been like, oh, this is a really unpopular opinion. But I feel like now that everyone's had the time to let the series sink into them, I feel like everyone sort of has the same opinion as me now. It might be the movie's fault. You probably will guess what it is, but that is Divergent by Veronica Roth. I've read Divergent, Insurgent, Allegiant. I say that I read half of Allegiant and then I just skipped to the end because I got bored and I knew what happened. And 4 came out, and I have no desire to read that book whatsoever. Like, that could just go down a hole. But I feel like everyone sort of has the same opinion now as to the fact that no one... Like, this series used to have a love that surrounded it, and I feel like, apart from those hardcore fans, it doesn't really have that same love anymore. Do you get what I mean? I feel like every time I watch a books I don't like video, they're always like, unpopular opinion, Allegiant. So yeah, that's sort of where that's coming from. I don't know, I just don't like this at all. This is one of those trilogies which I don't know why I finished, but I'll always be like, no, I don't like it. And I don't really have a reason. At the time, it was because this is when the peak of my Hunger Games, like, love was going on. And I was like, no, it's a copy of the Hunger Games. It's not, don't kill me for saying that, that's just what was going through my head. It's not, it's just because this was dystopian, Hunger Games was dystopian, and at the time, anything dystopian was the Hunger Games to me. So, at the time, that's why I don't like it, and that hate has just sort of grown as time's gone on. I don't like her writing, I don't like the story, I don't like the characters. Moving on. This one, again, is a trilogy, which I have read the trilogy, and then there's 2 other ones which have come out and I don't want to read them. And again, I feel like if you asked me this a year ago, this would have been an unpopular opinion, but now, again, it's sort of grown, and that is The Maze Runner by James Dashner. I absolutely loved this book when I read it. Basically, I read The Hunger Games 3 years ago, just over 3 years ago, and my mum found this in the bookshop, and it says, a must for fans of The Hunger Games. So, but I had the other cover, and then I gave that to my cousin because I got this, like, the trilogy in like a pack. Anyway, moving on. This isn't the actual one that I've read from. My cousin has that. Anyway, moving on. So she gave me this, and I adored it. I loved it so much. So yeah, I read this 3 years ago, and then I read The Scorched Trials, The Death Cure. Yeah, I always get confused. I've broken the spine on that. Anyway, moving on. And I love the original trilogy. That is, honestly, it's one of my like favourite all-time books. I loved it. But there's Kill Order and The Fever Code, or Fever, something like that, which are prequels, and they have Teresa in it. And I absolutely despise Teresa. With a passion, a burning passion that's so like deep down that I hate her, and I do not want to read a book which is about Teresa, no matter how nice she might be. I refuse, which is why I'm not going to finish The Maze Runner series. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching this video. My camera decided, I say camera, my iPad, I'm gonna look here, decided to unfilm the outro. So this is my dodgy version of the outro. So leave a like, comment and subscribe if you want to, and someone will see you next week, or maybe not because we're in the middle of GCSEs when you're watching this. But if we can film, then someone will upload. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Bye guys, and sorry for this crappy ass outro.